Oh, that's a good point, because I don't see your thing moving at all. Your NDI source. It was jumping around when you were talking yesterday, and today it is not. So I wonder if we have to do it fresh every time. Alright, NDI. Well, I'm going to delete the one we have, I guess. Remove. Yes, I'm sure I want to remove it. Add NDI source. Nick 2. Okay. Search source. Ah, Jesus Christ. Alright, nothing is popping up under source names. Usually there's a couple of options. Right now there's not. Interesting. Okay, we are on Skype. Oh, wait, I have an idea. I have an idea. Skype, please open. Do I have to turn NDI on in Skype? No? What is an NDI source? It's already on. Okay. Oh, God, okay, so let me... Great. So then, let me just try again. Remove Nick 2. Yes, I'm sure. Add NDI source. Register trademark. Okay. There's still... Yeah, but I'm not seeing any of that. Here, let me turn screen share back on, I guess. Start sharing. There's nothing under source name. Did the screen share not work? Okay, good. Yes. Wait. I can't really click on the arrow. I can click on this arrow. I can click on this arrow. There's nothing under source name. Yeah, let's give it one more try. I swear to God that there was a way to turn it on in Skype. It's telling you it's on, but my computer's not reading that it's on. So I wonder if the problem is on my end. Ooh, I can find settings under settings. All right. General, account, settings. No, I don't want any of that. Call. All right. Hello. Long time no speak. Yes, I'm sure I would like to remove. Oh, wait. No, that's my camera. I don't want to get rid of that. All right. NDI, registered trademark, source. And yep, it looks like we're out of luck. Because there's just nothing. just hide it. Yes, I would like to remove image. And I suppose I would like to remove NDI source. Remove. All right, well, I guess wish me luck. Boom. Lucky Bat, I see you in the chat. Can you let me know if everything is looking good? Why did we remove Nick? Because the OBS was not wanting to cooperate with Skype. So we are just going to figure that out tomorrow. And then hopefully he'll be back for Wednesday's stream. There we go. All right. All right. We're back. I have the Salamanders. Lucky Bat. Hope. Does everything sound good? Does everything look good? R.I.P. Nick. Yes. Yes, R.I.P. All right, so I was looking at a lot of reference material for axolotls, and it looks like their skin isn't just pink and white. There's a little bit of yellow. So I think I'm actually going to add a little bit of yellow just so that they're not as Valentine's Day, you know, pastel-y pink and white. So time for just a bit more airbrushing. And what color? What color? It's gonna have to be the thinnest of yellows. I think I'm going to be using Cygnus yellow. Is that right? Shall the hidden be remembered as the Emperor's finest? Joey Flores, are you talking about Nick, who sadly will not be joining us because our streaming software was not wanting to cooperate? I need to thin this because otherwise it's gonna, my models are gonna get yellow real quick, and I don't really want that. So how is everyone tonight? This is Eons of Battle. We're live streaming. We're painting salamanders. Oh yeah, that's way too yellow. All right, I think I have some matte medium that I can cut it with. Let's see. Chipping medium, decal medium, gloss medium. Surface primer. This might work actually. Or else, what is this? Gloss varnish. I'd prefer matte varnish, but... Ooh, you know what? I'll use Games Workshop's Lamian Medium, because I know I've got a big pot of that. Alright, so I'm going to be using this Lamian Medium, which is just... It's just acrylic paint medium, to thin down my yellow so that it goes on a little bit more transparent. Joey Flores, you're working on custom decals? That is really interesting. Do you have an inkjet printer or a laserjet printer, or how do you actually plan on turning your designs into transfers? Boy, that is still real yellow. All right. I want just a hint of yellow. All right, that's looking better. Here, I'll try it out on one of these bases. All right, that's probably hard to tell on camera, but it is very slightly yellower, and I think that'll be perfect. Because right now they're looking a little white, a little pure white. All right, yeah, this is working. Joey Flores, I got a laser printer and some of the laser water slide sheets from Micro Mark. Haven't gotten as far as a test print, or haven't gotten a sheet. Neat. Some white toner to help print. That's really interesting. So do you print white first and then print your color on top? Or does it happen all at once? Can you guys tell? I'm really liking what this yellow is doing. I think it's adding a little bit more life into the skin. It's very subtle, but according to the Nat Geo pictures I was looking at, this is a little bit more accurate. And clearly, these models are an accurate depiction of the actual creature. Oops. All right, his hand is yellow now. Joey Flores, please let me know about the white toner. That's really interesting to me. Because I tried to make some decals, and the trouble I was running into is they would be very, very transparent. And the brights wouldn't be very bright. The darks would be too dark. Print white first, then the color on top. It should help the colors stand out even on dark surfaces. Simply would replace the black toner with the white and print as black for the white. Yeah, that's what I figured. That's neat. There we go. All right. Yeah, that's much better. Are you guys seeing that? And now I can actually use white as my brightest color. Because if their skin was pure white, then I would be a little bit limited in how I could use white later on. Although their skin is still so light. Yeah. Aw, look at them. Should work well for 1,000+ sheets. That is ambitious. I think I use decals all the time, and I think I've used up maybe one sheet of decals. Alright, and then of course my favorite, the fan guy. Gotta get the hand. Oh, and then this part of the hand that's holding the actual fan. There we go. All right. Super happy with that. Alright, I think it's time to start blocking out some of the weapons and armor. Alright, I've been thinking about what color I'm going to do for the armor. They each have kind of a unique look. This guy's wearing a shirt, this guy's wearing some leather armor, and I think it has... I forget if these little rectangles are made out of leather or if they were made out of metal. This guy has got a very loose-fitting kind of T-shaped garment. Fan guy has got a lovely coat. And then this guy, he's got a different kind of armor. He's got bigger plates of armor. What color? What will look good with pink? Chat, does anyone have an idea for what looks good with pink? I want to keep them pretty pastel. Alright, I just googled it and it looks like every color. So that narrows it down. Red might be nice. Red might... I want to stay away from colors that are in the skin, though. Blue? Blue could be nice. Cyan or purple? Yeah, that sounds... Purple would be pretty interesting. I'm still kind of feeling blue, though. Blue would really be striking against the pink skin. Teal, would that be too candy? A green blue. Green would be nice. I don't get to paint a lot with green. Seafoam. Hello, Benoit. If you just joined, I am painting some salamanders, and I'm trying to decide what color I want to paint their armor. Blue is good. I think I'm going to go with blue. Let's just go for it. Alright, but what color blue? I have so many options. My gut says to use these colors that I just grabbed. Kind of a teal, a light blue, and then a blue-gray. A light blue-gray. I think that'll work. I think I'm going to go with that. Yes, I think I'm going to use all three to paint these guys, but I'm going to start out with just a light base of some Games Workshop Fenrisian Gray, which is a very blue gray. If I start light, I can always go dark. If I go dark, it's a pain in the butt to get light. Alright, I'm going to be using a Rosemary & Co. number 3, which is, I don't know, it's kind of big. I always like to use as big a brush as I can get away with. Here, let me try to get my my palette work on camera. All right, I guess let me start with this guy. Who will henceforth be known as Giant Ninja Star Guy. guys are so much fun. Somebody last stream had a great joke about these being Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, but they're actually salamanders. What was it? It was like prepubescent, secret assassin, amphibious salamanders, I suppose. Although my color scheme is based on an animal called an axolotl, which I think is different than a salamander. It might be the pre-salamander. Lucky Bat, can you confirm? Is an axolotl a pre-salamander? Or is it a whole different thing? Alright, I think I'm going to pull a Dustin Rhodes and do 2 thin coats. Doing my best to keep everything, all of my painting inside the lines, because that's going to make everything a little faster. My dream is to get these done in a week, to paint them on camera, and then have them finished by Friday. But we will see. Oh yeah, I am enjoying that. Lucky Bat says they are different animals, but some can morph into salamanders. That is interesting. I mean, they don't have a long way to go. A salamander and an axolotl are pretty much the same thing. They're very similar looking critters. Alright, I think that will work nicely. Just get a little closer to these edges. Ooh, another big thing I have to think about is these ninja headbands. What symbol is going to go on there? Benoit, who I'm sure I'm saying their name correctly. You play Warhammer Fantasy High Elves. That's really cool. I've never gotten into fantasy. I'm a big 40k person, and I play Necrons, Black Templar, Space Marines, Gene Stealer Cult, and a little bit of Death Watch. Yeah, you know what? I'm just gonna paint right on top of these, right on top of this armor. I can always paint more on top of it later. I have a feeling, though, I'm not going to want to pick out these armors, each little armored square. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to maybe darken them, add a little highlight, maybe paint the string holding them all together a little different color, and then be done. Naruto! Yeah, that's what the headbands look like. They look like the Naruto headbands, but I don't want to just paint a symbol from Naruto on these guys. There's got to be something clever I could do. Is there like a symbol for amphibians? Alright. I am really excited to get to paint these guys' eyes. I love painting eyes, and I have an idea of how I can give these guys a nice vacant stare. Robert Jorgensen. Necron's here as well. Still waiting for the new set to arrive. The Indominus. I have a box of Indominus coming to me as well. Hopefully it'll get here one of these days. Benoit. Yes, invent a symbol for amphibians. That's probably what I'll have to do. It's a little tricky. Their bodies are so small. It's a little bit hard to see where their clothing starts and stops. And it kind of looks like this guy's wearing kind of like a fishnet with a sock. No, it couldn't be a sock. Just a little bit of netting on the ankle to make him a little extra stealthy. What did I just see that I need? Oh, this area right here, in between the head and his right arm. Yeah. Alright, who's next? This guy should be easy. Really watering this paint down because I want the airbrushing I did underneath. Oop, got it on the leg. I want the airbrushing I did to kind of guide me where highlights should go. Not Benoit, but Benoit. Got it. Thank you. Okay, I'll say it correctly from now on. Village hidden in the mist. This guy's got a nice rope belt. I think maybe I'll paint the ropes on them purple. I think that would actually look really nice. Or maybe I paint them rope to help ground them in the real world. I mean, not the real world, but, you know, to make it look like they exist alongside the real world. Max Brandt. I have one of those salamander figures. Should be a fun project. I know, I'm really excited. I got the whole set. Well, I got most of them. I think there's one or two more I don't have, and then there's more in this range. The sculptor of these minis was actually on stream yesterday, and it was very, very fun. Hopefully they'll check in as so that they can get to see these guys being painted. More slippage. I got a little paint on the chin. That's another reason to use very thin paint. Is it's pretty easy if you make a mistake to correct it. Max Brandt, where did you get the STL from the sculptor, or did you buy it through Etsy? I bought mine through Etsy. It's hard to tell where this guy's hood ends. Oh no, it's not his hood. Is this part of him? Is that his head? Or is that... No, okay. He doesn't have a traditional headband like the other ones do. It looks like he has an interior piece of clothing that the headband is attached to. But you know what? I think I might actually save that and make it a different color. You kind of gotta take what the model gives you. This is really fun, actually, because I'm very used to painting 40K models, and so blood splatter to these guys. Maybe, but probably not. A Moth Wizard character. I think I know exactly the model you're talking about, Max Brandt. It was calling my name. It's kind of like a moth with a giant scepter, and the wings resemble the cape. I think I might need to pick up that model as well. Yep. Oh, that's a pretty sweet model. I wanted to pick one up and then convert it to be a Mothman, which is a very famous American monster from West Virginia. I think Point Pleasant, is that where the town where the legend is from? The legend goes that there was this big moth-shaped man was terrorizing people, and then a bridge collapsed, and Mothman has never been seen again. Alright, I'll let that guy dry while I work on this guy who's leaping through the air. Actually, he's not leaping through the air. He rides this eel. Mothman now sighted in Chicago. I think that's a different creature. It must be, right? How could Mothman get all the way to Chicago? I read a book called The Mothman Prophecies. I forget the author. I was hoping it would be like a real crackpot story, like where someone is talking about their research into Mothman, and it didn't disappoint. I read the whole book, but and what happened was he had a bunch of friends with schizophrenia, and they were calling him and making predictions, and apparently Mothman was telling these people what to tell him, and one day these people told him that there was going to be an assassination of a local politician. So he drives there, and he tells them they're in danger. They ignore him. Nothing happens. They drive back home, and the bridge collapsed. And so he's like, of course, that's what they meant. When they said assassination, what they really meant was bridge collapse. So, kind of an interesting read. The Mothman Prophecies. It's pretty short. I know, don't spend money on it, but if you can find it someplace, might be worth a flip through. Good movie. Is Mothman Prophecies a movie? I've never heard of a Mothman movie. I would watch it if there was a Mothman movie. I got a little bit more. There we go. There was a movie several years ago. Was the movie called Mothman Prophecies? There is a Mothman Prophecy movie. I'll have to check it out. I wonder, I'm sure it's not based on the book. It couldn't be. I'm so behind on movies. I have a list a mile long of movies I need to watch soon. Ah, rats. He's got paint on his hand. But I've been so busy cranking out videos. Haven't gotten a chance to watch much. Not many movies that feature cryptids. There are definitely not. Are there any? I know Bobcat Goldthwait, the comedian, made a Bigfoot movie. I've heard it's very good. Don't know the name of it, but if you look up Bobcat Goldthwait, you'll definitely find it. Other monster movies. There was the Water Horse, which was kind of loosely based on the legend of the Loch Ness Monster. I thought it was fine. It's a kid's movie, so, you know, he doesn't eat anybody or, like, sink any ships. And the ending is just the ending of Free Willy. Alright, do they all get blue? I think this guy gets a red coat and a blue fan. I think that's what I'm going to do with him. Thank you, Benoit. I'm painting this fan with some very, very thin down water because I want there to be a nice gradient. And this is just the first layer, which is a very, very, very light blue-gray. Maybe a little too light here. I think I need to beef it up a little bit. Can't wait to get the freehanding on these models. I mean, once I'm at the freehanding stage, these models will almost be done. So I definitely can't wait for freehanding. But we'll see. Yeah, I think that'll be the look. Blue fan, red jacket. Or does he have a black jacket with red trim? That might be... because he's the leader with his deadly, deadly weapon, the paper fan. I think that's what I might do. Or is that Akatsuki from Naruto? Robert Jorgensen, thank you. I needed someone else to agree with me that the black and red would be sick. So I think that's what I'm gonna do. So how do I get that process started? I think first I hit it with a medium gray. I'm gonna be using P3 P3 Iron Hull Gray. And then I'm going to be doing the same thing, just thinning it down a lot, and then brushing it onto the model. This Hanzaki Salamanders collection is cool. I wish there was a Usugai. I don't know what that second thing you're bringing up is. If it's from the same collection by the same sculptor, though, I'm sure. I mean, everything they do is absolutely gorgeous. That's way too much paint. All right, there we go. This might not be the smartest way to do a black jacket, because really to make something look black, you want as much true black as you can get, and then you just do some selective highlighting. But I don't know, we'll see where this ends up. Samurai Rabbit comic. Most have forgotten them. Yeah, I'm assuming if it's a comic book of samurai rabbits, they were overshadowed by a certain comic featuring Ninja Turtles. I don't know if anyone's heard of it. It's also an obscure property. What color would the lining of a black jacket be? I'm going to say it'd be red. Lone, Bun, and Cub. Adolescent Abnormal Assassin Newts. Yes. Yes, that was hilarious. Adolescent Abnormal Assassin Newts. Adolescent Assassin Abnormal Newts. Just flows so easily. And it's really hard to get in between the fan and his head. Yimbo did make an appearance on the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles cartoon. Neat. If anybody's watching the stream and wants to know where the other half of EonsOfBattle is, we could not get Skype to behave with our streaming software, but we'll have it figured out for tomorrow night's stream. So nobody worry, they're not always going to be this boring. But it's a little tricky to concentrate on painting and to concentrate on the stream at the same time. So I am just going to, I don't know, keep talking and streaming and painting. Zerg619, glad to have you. You haven't missed too much. I'm painting the same figures. I'm just blocking out their base colors And I made the decision that this model with the fan is the leader, and he is going to be wearing a black and red coat, where all of the other ninjas are going to be wearing blue clothing and armor. So all you guys in the chat, when you paint, do you paint always armies, miniatures for board games? Do you only print figures, busts, display pieces, competition pieces? What is typically on your painting tables? Oh, excuse me. As soon as I see them, I want to paint them like WoW Murlocs. Weren't Murlocs the monsters from H.G. Wells' A Time Machine? That's where I know Morlocks from. Robert Jorgensen, 40k, Age of Sigmar, and whatever grab. Max Bandit, who should change their name to Max Bandit. Many random figures, 40k and D&D monsters. Kilgore Void, I like to paint anything that looks interesting. I like armies, but I don't like the kind of commitment to paint 500,000 soldiers. So not orcs, then. No orc armies or Tyranid armies. Joey Flores started painting for Kill Team. Kill Team looks so much fun. Me and Nick got a game in not too long ago, and it was super fun. So expect more Kill Team content. Have yet to play. Same with Warcry. Now I'm just painting for the games I will one day maybe play. D 2017 in WoW, they're hominoid fish. Interesting. Do you mean humanoid fish? Like fish people? Random from Reaper to break it up. I love a good Reaper Bones. They have a lot of really fun stuff at very reasonable prices. Robert Jorgensen, bad typing. Perry Miniatures and Lead Adventure are great. Perry Miniatures, I don't think I've ever heard of that. Are they fantasy, science fiction, historic? What kind of miniatures are Perry Miniatures? Alright, there's the gray, and I think the fan needs another coat of blue. Historic, and they are great. Neat, I'll have to give that a look. I haven't done a lot of historic. I used to do a lot of model airplanes and things when I was young. Mostly military historic, but the two brothers who do them used to do a ton of work sculpting for Citadel. Interesting. You don't know the legendary Perrys. I mean, if they do old Citadel, I probably own their stuff. I just didn't know the name. Yeah, this definitely needed a second coat, and it's looking real slick. Very nice. The most Imperial models are from the Perrys. So does that mean Space Marines and Imperial Guard, or just Imperial Guard? Sculpting with one hand! When you lose a hand and just decide to learn to sculpt with your non-dominant because you love the hobby so much. That is pretty badass. I do remember them. One of the twins lost his hand in a historic reenactment with cannons. Wow! What a way to go. That's incredible. He has a story he can tell for the rest of his life. I mean, what a story. They're not rocking up to the bar and just being like, how'd you lose your hand? Diabetes. He's rocking up and he's like, let me spin you a yarn. I lost my arm in a historical reenactment with a cannon. That's incredible. It's almost worth losing the arm for such a great story. The fantasy range of the Empire. Oh, okay. Interesting. See, my mind, it always goes to 40k. I'm going to mix in a little bit of Lothorn Blue into my Fenrisian Gray. And then I'm going to be applying this to the lower portions of their clothing and armor. If I really, I should probably be adding a second coat of the Fenrisian Gray, but I don't really feel like it, and I think they'll turn out just the same if I just go straight into my next dark color. Because that's an important thing when you're painting, is not to stick to a formula, but just to try stuff. You don't always have to have a plan. I mean, a plan often helps to make sure you don't screw everything up, but you know what? Sometimes screwing everything up is perfectly fine. Do links work in this thing? Are there rules? There aren't rules according to me. So, go for it. See what happens. Y'all can do whatever you want in the chat. I don't know if YouTube has some sort of system in place to stop that, but... Kilgore Void, anarchy ensues. I'm sure there's gonna be anarchy. I'm sure the 10 of you guys are gonna get real rowdy. Oh, I got a little bristle that doesn't want to behave, but I think I can work around it. Unless, do I have scissors near me? I don't. I'm just gonna make it work. But yeah, these silly miniatures are a nice change of pace for me. I think my plan is to paint them up nicely and then get them some nice wooden plinths to live on. Because I've done wooden plinths for dioramas, but I've never done them for miniatures. So I want to shop around and see if I can find maybe like a little bundle of hardwood cutoffs, just some scrap that I can carve into little pucks on my scroll saw, and then mount these lovely little guys on there. I also want to teach myself how to create some little scale cherry blossoms that I can sprinkle onto the bases. Because I have five different bases, but I want there to be some unification to them all. And so I think a little sprinkling of petals would do the trick. Kilgore Void, any thoughts on doing a diorama for them? I don't think so. I think I'd rather have them as individual models. I like dioramas for like single pieces, you know, a vehicle or one figure. But I don't know, dioramas that have too much going on or a bunch of figures. And I want all of these guys to be a star. I don't want them to be just a backup for the one focal point model. That would not be fair to their reptilianness. The second coat is always more enjoyable than the first coat because you can just kind of follow what you did before. You don't have to worry as much about painting in the side of the lines because you already did it the first time. So if you can just follow what you did before, you can paint real quick. Oh, although I just noticed I didn't paint this guy's sleeve, so it's getting painted now. And no one will know. Everybody forget. Everybody forget that I forgot to paint that sleeve. Forget what? Yeah, exactly. Exactly, Kilgore Void. I think either the loose breath the loose hair in my paintbrush. It looks like it either fell out or worked its way back into the fold. All right, the blue is a little splotchy, but it should all work itself out once I start to get into the shadows and highlights. I started with such a light blue, and now I'm kind of covering it all up, which is not really what I wanted, but I guess that's just where this model is leading me. Little bits. Actually, no, that's not his arm. That's a secondary sleeve. True, they do have some neat bases already. Yes, and these bases were provided by the person I bought them from on eBay. Dragonoff Miniatures, something like that. These are actually not the base. They don't come with bases, I don't believe. Oh my god. Is that the Ben Montgomery? That's incredible. How is it going, Ben? Ah, that's so exciting. Ben, type something else. Ah, that's so excited. That's so exciting. Ben is actually Ben Montgomery is a legend in the hobby. He was playing Eldar before they were good. Yeah. I was wondering if I was going to have fewer people in the stream because of the debates. But I can check. Yeah, we have just about the same amount as we always do. Rather be here. Exactly. Painting some little salamanders. Don't lie to them. Ah, yes. Oh, Ben was playing Eldar before the psychic phase made any sense at all. Way back in 6th, when the psychic phase was just just 5 pages of suggestions on how to roll and what powers to do, and everything was random and nothing worked. Alright, I think... Did everyone get a second coat of blue? Oh, the fan. It still looks a little patchy. I think it needs another pass with the Fenrisian Gray. And then go into the Lothern Blue. And then finish it up with a Sotek Green. Which, everybody look at this paint. Does that look like green? What part of that color is green? Games Workshop, it seems like they're moving away from actually putting the color of the paint into their paint names. And I want them to take it one step further and actually put the wrong color into their paint. So if you're painting with a yellow, it's going to be called it's going to be called Fire Raptor Red. Or if you're painting with a green paint, it's going to be called Battlefield Brown. It does have a bit of a green hue, but I certainly wouldn't call it green. I wouldn't call it made-up name green. I love the Psychic Phase in 2nd edition. It's green through the eye of a lizard man. Yes, I'm sure. Texture paints labeled Null Oil. If they had an orange paint, they would just call it purple. Just to mess with everyone. It's always great when I'm doing the voiceover for my videos, and I have to tell you the paint I'm using, and then we just have to stop recording because it's like, how do you say this name? What on earth is this? Reichland Flesh Shade? There's a blue. The blue wash has a shocking name. What is the name of the Games Workshop blue wash? Drakenhof Nightshade. Yep, Drakenhof Nightshade. That's blue. Second edition. I love when people are like back in second edition or third edition. The game was great. It's not. It's a whole different game. It's a 100% different game. There's about 1,200 different new units. There's new factions. There's the internet. $3K points and 1 week. Vacation was done. Edgy AF, do you remember the glazes? The glazes. Yes, I do remember the glazes. I still have the green glaze, which I use often. The glazes were actually really nice. I think they probably got rid of them because their colored shades are almost identical. I don't actually like a lot of the colored shades. Null Oil and Urgrax Earthshade are perfection. But other than that, I actually feel like they're way too saturated with color to be a good shade. So usually I'll if I'm using like a green shade or a blue shade, I actually have to water them down about half to actually get what I want from them. What color is Dark Reaper? Dark Reaper, I think, would be the technical paint that looks like cracked dry earth. Yeah, these guys are coming along. Hey Jay, I'm headed out, but I'm so glad I got to catch you while you're streaming. Yes! Good night, Ben. We'll be streaming all week, and Nick should be here. Nick should be here also. So we're going to be streaming. Actually, it is getting a little late. We're going to be streaming every night, 9 to 10. I'm going to be painting these models. And hopefully, although it doesn't look like a lot of progress got done tonight, I'll be wrapping them up by Friday. Max Brand, I see it as a heavy deep blue. Alright, speaking of a heavy deep blue, I think these guys need a nice coat of green. This is not green. This color I think is an old GW color because the pot doesn't have the little kickstand that never quite works. Speaking of kickstand, what does the chat think about dropper bottles versus pots? I know that was a big debate in one of my previous videos, the 9 hobby tools you need, or 7 hobby tools, or however many I could think of at the time of writing. I don't really mind the pots. I think they're fine. I prefer droppers, but I actually prefer the pots for washes and glazes, because usually I like to be able to take those straight from the pot, and I don't want to put them on my palette. Kilgore Void, I like to use pizza holders to keep from knocking over the washes. Like those little plastic, yeah, the white with 3 little feet. Interesting. I think I've knocked over a GW paint once, and of course it was a Nuln Oil, it got everywhere. But for the most part, if you're careful, they work just fine. All right, it's just about 10:10. I think I'm gonna go 5 more minutes and then close the stream. I'm certainly not gonna spend time transferring paint, but if I have 2 equivalent paints, I'll take the dropper bottle. Yes, that's how I feel. That's how I feel about the droppers versus the pots. And I actually kind of like the P3 pots. They actually work. They work really nice. They don't get all gummy like some of the GW ones. Zerg619. I was planning to stream a restoration of one of my paper crafts. Sadly, my mental health wasn't in optimal condition. Well, it'll always be waiting for you when you're ready. When you're ready to work on it. That's the nice thing about miniatures and hobbies. Is they're usually low impact. I mean, unless you're a runner. But that's the nice thing about miniature painting. Oh, I like what this paint is doing with flowing. It's kind of flowing into the recesses. I'm really liking the look that's given me. I'm also seeing I didn't do the greatest job in the world of cleaning these models and getting them ready for painting. I don't have a lot of experience with 3D printed models, so I think what I might do in the future is I actually might prime the pieces and then give them an extra look to see if that coat of paint has revealed any blemishes that were harder to spot when everything was just in bare resin. Joey Flores, I regret only putting my contrast into droppers, but otherwise the rest, like in the droppers for airbrushing. I regret only putting my contrast into droppers, but otherwise the rest I like in the droppers for airbrushing. Yes, it is nice for airbrushing. Although I don't mind, taking an old brush, scooping the paint, and then, putting it into my airbrush. I think that's pretty much as easy as, and sometimes it's easier to control because you're not trying to squeeze out one drop. You're actually looking and selecting the paint you want to put into your airbrush. So there's different schools of thought. But yes, I'm definitely not going to buy Games Workshop paint, the most expensive of the paints, and then also buy dropper bottles, and then spend my time moving them over. I think I would rather paint salamanders, or just about anything, than move paint from a container into a different container. Yeah, I'm liking what this green paint is doing. And I call it green paint because it calls itself green paint. He is hurling that ninja star. Kilgore Void, if nothing else, the droppers can save the paint in the long run. Kinda. Kilgore, I don't know if I agree with you there, because what does that mean, save paint in the long run? Paint doesn't dry out overnight, so you should really be checking on your paint fairly regularly, at the very least, probably 3 or 4 times a year. So if you're not checking on your paint, it's kind of your fault if it dries out. And I've had some, I've purchased some Vallejo paints from a secondhand store, and apparently, you know, they were brand new, but they had been stored for so long that I actually needed to take the paint out of the droppers to rehydrate them and get them workable again. So there's nothing you can do that'll take the place of just general periodic maintenance. But yes, GW paints, paint pots do have a tendency to develop leaks that can allow the paints to dry out. But you know what? It's not. Is it saving paint though? Or it's not. It's definitely not saving money, because if you don't touch a paint long enough that it dries out, you also weren't using it. But then I have to clean the brush for scooping from the pots. Sure, but you also have to clean the brush constantly while you're painting. So is that really paint you're losing? I may or may not have a video coming up about just that topic of keeping paints nice and workable for long periods of time. That may or may not be a video I'm writing. Alright, 10:16. I am going to be turning off the stream. So, good night. Good luck. Enjoy the debates. And Eons of Battle out.